Hello, welcome to Surrogate Church. Here I am at the DJ booth at Paradise Studios. Who could ever imagine me being here? I'm not spinning music. I will be spinning my words. We've had a little gap in showtime, and it's because I am at one of those giant crossroads in life where I am just about done packing up my home of 25 years, about to move to a new home. A lot of chaos going on. I come into the studio. Bobby's just moved one studio into another. Our world seems to be collectively holding a lot of momentum of change and transition. And within that, sometimes it can feel like energetically we are just dying because there's so much that is happening, or maybe getting ready to be reborn. I don't know. I'm just in the process of witnessing. Today I'm flying solo, and I came in today really just pushing through the difficult layers of trying to be present for everything I'm supposed to be present in my life for, struggling with the grief of certain disappointments and curveballs that life has thrown at me. But then I see this DJ booth where my podium used to be. This was where my pulpit, right, my priestess podium was. And Bobby said, okay, we could move your podium somewhere else, or you can read from the DJ booth. So I think that's a good sign. I think that I am, in fact, so willing to roll with this idea of transforming my pulpit into a DJ booth where the music of the universe can begin to spin for me. So I'm going to start with the piece that kind of gives you an idea of where I am in the moment, in the mundane, and then we'll take it from there. From the attic to the curb, 25 years of junk, sorted and scattered around the first floor of my home. Out, out, out with the old and musty blankets, curtains, coats, shoes, plates, pots, pans, even Christmas decorations out. Momentum rising, which each tied up black contractor bag. Fill it up, drag it out. I'm moving quickly without much thought. None of this stuff matters. Kicking up the dust, my nasal passages are on fire. My head pounding, eyes tearing, the layers clearing, the grip releasing, the strings unwinding, running, 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 lifting off. Liftoff is underway. I feel the depth of inhaling the sky. I am 10 feet off the ground, alive and free, and on my way. I catch sight of the kids' backpacks sitting in the blue room. I crash down on a runway lined with the tiny lights of elementary school artwork and journals and pictures and notes and report cards. And I am broken down and practically dead. I can't move. It's been 5 days and I still can't move. Little people preserved in these packs, my little people, precious and peculiar and particularly brilliant. The yearning is unbearable. The nostalgia is insatiable. All I can do is eat. To think is to die. I listen with more of me from the inner caverns of my being. I listen to YouTube videos of spirited teachers. I do not hear their words. I do not grasp onto the jewels of their teachings. I do not listen for meaning. I join the frequency of their voices, the vibrations of their bodies. My heart conducts their words into a symphonic vacuum. I am sucked up into the vortex of eternal knowing. I feel dizzy and deluded and dusty, and I know nothing. And I want to know nothing better. Time has stopped. I am still. No, I am not still. Everything around me is perfectly still. I am a particle of dust from the star that was once me. No one is here. I am alone. Is this air that I am breathing, or am I swallowing water? Am I drowning or floating in the amniotic fluid that broke long ago on this kitchen floor, now rising up from the cracks in the tile? Soon I will be in over my head. My kids feel it. Somehow they know. They reach out, we talk. I feel their child essence still sparkling in the energy of their voices. I listen with more of me. I hear the familiar song of our union. I feel the presence beyond the yearning, and the water subsides. Pulled back into the center of the Great Mother, the oneness of our love restored. I'm okay, a little sad, more impatient. I want this part to be over. Whew. So, it has been an experience of being somewhat buried alive, or maybe my aliveness buried in the boxes of my life that are piling up in the house where we raised our children. And I have been watching these YouTube videos of just all these great spiritual thinkers. I go up at night, retreat to my room, watch them. And just this past week at school, we were having our keys changed on all our locks. And the locksmith came in and he's saying to me, listen, sister, we're going to be doing this kind of lock on this door and this on that door. And you know what, sister, you gotta just work with me on this. So I turned to him and I said, Brian, why do you keep calling me sister? Like, what is that about? Like, why do you keep calling me that? So he stops dead in his tracks and he says, well, because you're Mother Mary, right? I'm like, what are you talking about, Mother Mary? He goes, you're like the head nun here, right? I said, I do not run a Catholic school. And did you just say that I was a nun? He's like, oh, I thought you were like the head nun. I'm like, I have never been so offended in all my life. So he says, oh no, does that mean you're not going to give me the job? I'm like, hell no, of course you have the job. So he said, oh, all right, you're not a nun, you're an angel. So I'm like, what am I turning into? I am entering the convent of I don't know what, but it feels weird and it is hard to reconcile. And I think this is part of the great mystery of being in life. There is always pieces that get complicated and that we're given the opportunity to come to peace with and find reconciliation between things that are difficult to reconcile. And during the pregnancy with Mary, there certainly were periods where forgiveness and reconciliation was a very key component of it. And I'm going to read a piece from Surrogate Church today that looks just at that. And it's actually called Reconciliation. So I'm going to move to my other book. Okay. Reconciliation. Out of all the people in my life, 3 voiced disapproval over this pregnancy. 1 is my father-in-law. We were on the phone and out of the blue he said, "I just want you to know that I disapprove of the situation you're in right now." At first I wasn't sure what he was talking about. What situation? Work, the house, the kids, Lee, like what are you talking about? The pregnancy, he answered. I know you're trying to spare your sister pain, but sometimes you just have to let people suffer through their struggles. Pain is one thing, suffering is another. The pain will always be there, no matter how many babies I carry. To let her suffer would be a choice I cannot make. Once I understood the distinction, I didn't feel mad or defensive. I didn't feel like I needed him to understand my choice. I didn't need to analyze his opinion. I didn't need to say much of anything. I listened curiously to his thoughts, and when the conversation ended, I was left with a feeling of reconciliation. I know that the intention of my action is not to spare Rosalie her struggle. Rather, it is to join her in this struggle, to bring about new life. We share a reverence for a process that forces us to take nothing for granted, except the commitment we have to each other. This is the discipline of my practice. 2 is my friend of many years. She came on strong. You have 4 children to take care of, a business, a marriage. Why would you sacrifice almost 2 years of your life? 3 months preparation, 9 months gestation, at least 6 months to recover. Why do you feel like you need to rescue Rosalie from her destiny? I felt angry, defensive, misunderstood. I wanted her to support my choice. She was always a voice of truth. So I looked deep into the mirror she was holding up before me. I entered the looking glass, and I came out more determined to answer the call of duty, the action of my destiny. I tried to make her understand. During the early days of doubt, waiting to find out if the embryo implanted, worrying that every pain might indicate the end, she said, "Maybe it won't take, and then you'll be let off the hook." She did not understand, and I didn't understand her. That was the last time I spoke to her. Friend of 15 years, I needed to let her go. This is my confession. I couldn't watch her witness my process. It was too painful. I did not call her. She did not call me. And the reconciliation of the choice made in silence still hurts. There is a sense of moral duty that lives deep within my heart, a call to action, transcending personal needs and desires in order to encourage and support evolution and freedom. The moral conception of this child brings dignity, honor, and beauty to my life and to those I serve. This is the religion of my practice. 3 is my daughter, Emma. She was furious. She was definitive. No, I don't want you to do this. I don't like that you're doing this. It makes me feel uncomfortable. Just don't do it. Time and time again, we tried to talk to her about it, to help her clarify her primal no, but she couldn't give it words. She could not explain it. She knew it wasn't because she felt embarrassed. She knew it wasn't because she didn't want Roro to have a baby. She knew it wasn't because I wouldn't have enough time for her. She knew it wasn't because she was afraid something might happen to me. All she knew for sure was that she hated the thought of it, and she hated the reality of it even more. She didn't hate me, though. She was angry, but she knew I had to do what I was doing, and she had to be true to her reaction. It was weird, such intensity, and at the same time, such acceptance. I wanted to change her mind. I wanted her to feel resolved. I wanted so much to rescue her from the feelings. I talked to everyone who would listen. I talked to her pediatrician. He said, "It's the age. They oppose everything." I talked to one of my psychic friends. She said, "It's because you died giving birth to her in a past life." I spoke to my friend Robin, who has a natural curiosity for the workings of the human mind. She said, "It's something psychological. Come on, you can figure it out." I talked to my mother. She said, "Just leave her alone. Her feelings will change." When Emma's feelings didn't change and her attitude got stronger about it, my mother said, "What's wrong with her? Didn't you raise her to believe in family?" I talked to Rosalie. She said, "Maybe we shouldn't do this. It might traumatize her for life." I talked to Lee. He said, "Let it be. You need to be reconciled with the fact that she is not happy about this, and that's all she can tell us." How could I let it be? She was my firstborn. I was on a quest to understand her. She accepted my decision. I accepted her anger, but it threatened something inside her. We had the conversations many times, and I think many years will pass before I fully comprehend the stand Emma took. The closest I came to understanding her radical opposition was when she said, "I feel the same way as when I watched you give blood." There was a day when we were in the mall and a blood drive was going on. I decided to give blood. Emma and Lily were with me. They sat as my blood was drawn. They seemed okay, but when it was all done, Emma burst into tears and begged me never to give blood again. When I questioned her, she just cried, and all she could say was, "I don't know why. I just don't want you to share your blood." When Emma was born, Lee, who is adopted, held her and said, "You are my first blood relative." I remember thinking, Emma begins our bloodline. And then in a moment of majesty, she became regal in my eyes, a lady of the court, a mini queen. Emma's pure emotion is connected somehow to the power of blood, the sacred blood of the womb, the sharing of blood between mother and child, the cord that binds heaven and earth, body and blood. She knows more about this than I do. I trust that she is tapping into sacred truth. In time, it will become clearer. For now, all I can do is hold her in the purity of her response. Reconciliation found in the unknown. Tolerating the mystery of Emma's reaction carries me to the altar of my faith. There is a force in all of this that is bigger than me. I trust God to draw in the voices, arrange the balance, create harmony, music, and mystery. This is the art of my practice. So at the heart of forgiveness, of true religion, is mystery. And Mary Magdalene, as I'm coming to know her now, her teachings are that of mystery. So lately I've been saying, I'm enrolling in mystery school. There's no school, there's no course outline, there's no computer to help me out with this. I'm just enrolling in mystery school. And whatever is going to appear on my path is somehow part of this mysterious journey. Well, as soon as I put out that call, the mysteries began unfolding. And one of the most radical of all is, recently, Lee and I took our youngest child to college. Throughout this summer, she was kind of dragging her feet about going off to college, not too crazy about the idea. But we get there, the three of us, and we settle her in her room. Her roommate is lovely. She's liking the space. She's feeling settled. And we decide to go to lunch. And as we're going, the thought in my mind is, oh, we're complete. We did it. We fulfilled our contract to usher our youngest child, 18 years old, to college. Like, Lee and I are okay. Just as I'm thinking that, online to the restaurant, Lee gets a phone call. And it's from his doctor, and he had a biopsy, and it turned out that he has cancer. Right there, standing there in that moment, I thought, what is this about? My heart broke again. It broke again for him and for me and for our family. And it opened me up to a new level of reconciliation and to truly release him from anything that I may have been harboring, because in that break, I realized that I want nothing but happiness for him. I want him to go off and live a happy, healthy, prosperous life. And yet, it's not that simple. You know, it's not that simple. And I'm going to read another piece. I actually don't even, it's a piece I've written recently, and I haven't read it really back to myself, but I'm going to try to read it here today and see what I said about this. But it has to do with finding that news out. Okay. Let me move this over a little. I show up for Lee. I check in with him. I go to the doctor. I listen to his frustrations. I counsel him as he adapts to his change in plans. My heart is open to his struggle, but protected. I try not to think about it too much. I try not to ask the question, why am I there for him? I don't want to attach meaning or analysis or judgment to the ways of my love. I have taken to wearing one of Mary Magdalene's stones close to my heart. In the end, she did not abandon Jesus, the only disciple to walk with him and his cross. The men all disappeared. They did not have her courage. They did not have her way of love. She knew who Jesus truly was. She understood the sacrifice. I know Lee. I understand the need for his arrogance to be sacrificed. He was very excited about the idea of being divorced from me and everything I come with, driven by a belief system detached from true intimacy. He gave us all up. I see it for what it is now, and I join him simply to help him bear the cross of his own making, so that cancer can be his opportunity to remember what really matters. I have faith that he will transcend and become a better man for all of this. I thought we were complete, and then out of nowhere, our path turned suddenly to the left. A year ago, I was left, broken-hearted, because of his brutal disrespect of my womanhood and blatant disregard for my love. Today I stand in gratitude for the graciousness of God in allowing me to walk with the divine presence of Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary through the treacherous terrain of turning stones, turning cheeks, turning the tides of my tears. They did not abandon me, not for a moment. Mostly silent, they kept me moving for miles and miles and miles. And finally, I can feel their breath, see their sweat, hear their love. I forgive him as a father. He knew not what he did. As a husband, he knew what he did, leaving me with a battle to save my light, to regain, recover, resurrect the stone that makes me whole, that connects me to everything good, that is marked with my essence, carved by the hand of God. The stone and the cross released from the stone, revealing the depth and breadth of my forgiveness. I live at the center of reconciliation. That is my home. He is welcome to visit. Wow. Okay. Okay. So reconciliation is my home. So my ladies, all those watching, disciples of Mary, I leave you with one closing image, something I wrote back in the times of the surrogacy. And then I think I'm going to leave it at that. Recently, I had lunch with my friend Celeste. We were talking about our pull to create a church that celebrates the power of the divine feminine. I looked across the table. There she sat, filled with enthusiasm, fresh from a massage, her hair long, red, wavy. A woman who can talk to her dogs and cook up a feast and show compassion and create art and celebrate life through ritual and words. Then it hit me. She is a disciple of Mary. She was inspired in the moment. An idea popped out to create a circle, to share the bonds of spiritual awakening, to gather women. These ideas come to the Mary followers. I think the truth of the matter is that we experience God in the more intimate realm of mundane life. We love the idea of big spiritual communities, but it is in the solitary tasks of gathering the baskets of fresh fruits and vegetables and reading the books of wisdom and writing ideas yet to be born and drawing the line to keep out critical interference that we find our peace. Maybe one day we will buy an empty church and turn it into the What Do You Say Cafe, a coffee house, a performance space, an art gallery, a meditative arena where Jesus is at the mic, warming up the crowd for the suburban mystics. Mary is at the bar serving up drinks made from locally, organically grown produce. Little boys are on the altar breakdancing. Priests are in the back room reading Gnostic Bibles. Nuns are at the counter writing fan letters to the Pope. Girls are painting flowers, picking flowers, placing flowers at the feet of weary travelers. Maybe. One thing is for sure. We will share her stones and allow the voices of the silenced, the altar boys with the secret, the church lady who did the first reading, the man in the back row, the old lady praying the rosary, the mother quieting her children, the girl who dare not speak pure and true, to rise again and be heard. We will use her stones to break open the stories trapped in the confessional boxes, the poor boxes, the boxes used to lock away the Holy Eucharist, and set free a spirit, holy, joyful, accessible to each and every seeker. We hold her stones in the palm of our hands, to activate the chakra that gives way to forgiveness, reconciliation, redemption, eternal life. We rise from the sign of the cross, the symbol of transcendence, and connect once again to our divine essence, to each other, from the sign that holds the vibration, that aligns the powers, that opens the hands, that speaks the words. May the peace of the Lord be with you. The door of our gathering place, the place that was once a church, holds proud and true the sign of peace. And with that, I wish you all peace. And I pray that each of us may reconcile these difficult and changing times and come out with a home that still holds the sign of love. I think the next time I'm going to do a segment, I will be in my new space. Transition is happening within the next week or two. So hopefully I will be out the other side. Thank you for being with me during this mysterious walk. And listen, if anybody else is interested in enrolling in mystery school, show up for it. Look, this is the great mystery of today, the DJ booth. Message from my lady, make music. Have a big giant microphone. Spin those records. Let there be song. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, may peace be with you and all of us. Thank you.